Right now on 7 News at 5, the debate over which books should be allowed in schools continues. Greenville County will not be having in-person book fairs this year. We'll explain why.
Plus, thousands of bed rails across the country recalled after causing people to die. And now, upstate deputy coroners are being recognized for their role in saving lives.
Kamala Harris!
That was Oprah last night, but tonight is the big night for Vice President Kamala Harris as she formally steps forward to accept the nomination for president at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. We have a preview.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news here at 5. A missing man's car has been located in Oconee County.
The 66-year-old Mark Wagnon is still nowhere to be found. Deputies say they found his Nissan Sentra this morning. That was on Tower Road off of Highway 107 in Oconee State Park. We're told Wagnon was last seen in Travelers Rest Monday afternoon and is in need of medical attention. The Oconee County and Greenville County deputies are actively searching for Wagnon right now. So obviously, if you see him, make sure you call 911.
A 7 News alert now. With all the recent debate about what should or should not be in school libraries, Greenville County school district leaders say they will not have any in-person book fairs this year.
Our Elise Devlin explains.
The Greenville County School District says the State Board of Education has passed new regulations that have caused the district to change its stance on book fairs. The new regulation, which began on August 1st, requires school districts to ensure teaching materials, books, or other materials presented to students are age appropriate and do not contain sexual content.
We want to protect our employees, our teachers, our media specialists, anyone who might be involved in any respect with these book fairs. We want to protect them against accidentally violating the state regulation. We've decided this year just not to have them.
Tim Waller with the Greenville County School District says due to a quick turnaround between the regulation and book fair season, they have not had enough time to plan how they would vet every book that comes through the fairs. Leaders say that's why they are pausing book fairs for the school year.
When I say pause, that means simply that we plan at some point in the future to go back to having book fairs. We love book fairs.
We spoke with other school districts like Spartanburg School District 5. Leaders there say they will continue book fairs this school year despite the new regulation. Greenville County leaders say they are also spending time, money, and resources in other areas to comply with the regulation.
We've been forced to purchase scanners for each of our schools where they can scan the barcodes on books to create a public database, because part of the requirement is that parents anywhere can log into a website or a database and see what books are available for their children, along with teaching materials.
Leaders say the district has set aside money for every school to have 5 days of clerical assistance where extra people can come in and help catalog books. In Greenville, Elise Devlin, 7 News.
We reached out to the South Carolina Board of Education. Their spokesperson released a statement. Here's a look at it. It says the department commends the district on its vigilance. The SCDE will offer its support for finding vendors that can give schools and families peace of mind that they are providing age-appropriate materials to our students.
Let's get a check of the forecast now with 7 News Chief Meteorologist Christy Henderson tracking another really gorgeous day in the upstate.
Yeah, Taylor, it's a nice day out there. Plenty of sunshine, a good feel to the air, mild temperatures, really from the western Carolinas over to the coast. It's just a great day. I hope you enjoy it because we are going to see an end to these mild temperatures. It's going to start to heat up over the weekend and a lot over next week. Right now, though, we can enjoy upper 70s and lower 80s around the upstate. Spartanburg at 79, Greenville up to 80, 81 in Greenwood. We're in the 70s now in Asheville and Hendersonville. And so it's going to be a nice cool evening. By 9 o'clock, we'll be in the low 70s across the upstate, near 70 in the mountains with mainly 50s going into tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about that summer heat that's going to be on its way back coming up in a few minutes. Amy, Taylor.
A medical supply company is recalling more than 1 million portable adult bed rails after a number of deaths were linked to the product. It was involving 2 people at an upstate coroner's office who brought attention to the dangers of these bed rails. As Kelsey O'Donnell shows you, today they're being honored for their efforts.
It's not every day deputy coroners are honored for their life-saving efforts. Here in Greenville County, 2 members of the coroner's office are being praised for their investigative work, which could very well be saving thousands of lives. When responding to a scene, the Greenville County Coroner's Office says they treat every case with the same level of care.
Our 2 deputy coroners are extremely diligent, and everybody in our office works these cases just like it was their own family.
And sometimes those cases require more in-depth investigations, including 2 that happened in November of last year. That's when 2 people were found dead at an assisted living facility just days apart with the same cause of death, entrapment and asphyxiation. Investigators say both deaths were ruled accidental.
They was able to tell that it was not a natural death.
Investigators turned their attention to these adult bed rails, a product that has since been recalled by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission.
It was an unusual case, a case you don't get all the time, and to have 2 similar cases in the same facility within 2 days of each other was certainly, threw off some red flags.
Deputy Coroners Brent Stevens and Robert Parker spearheaded the investigations and worked closely with the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission to identify the hazards caused by the products.
Gentleman, very frail, was trying to get out of bed, rolled out of bed, and we got caught.
Thursday, months after the initial investigation,
I appreciate kind of your attentiveness to public safety.
Both men were honored for their critical roles that helped reveal the dangers of the bed rails.
We see a lot of death, and so just knowing that we could potentially contribute to someone being alive otherwise is really awesome.
The coroner's office says while 2 lives were lost in South Carolina, they're pleased their roles in the investigations could help make a difference. About 1.5 million portable adult bed rails have been recalled across America and in Canada, and the Greenville County Coroner's Office's investigative work played a big role in that. In Greenville County, Kelsey O'Donnell, 7 News.
And the coroner's office says this case serves as a reminder of the importance of thorough death investigations and the impact that can have on consumer safety.
Deputies, friends, and family all gathered in Greenville to remember loved ones who died from fentanyl overdoses. The Greenville County Sheriff's Office held a candlelight vigil last night to raise awareness about the dangers of the narcotic. The coroner's office says nearly 150 people in Greenville County died from a fentanyl overdose last year. One family impacted says they are turning their pain into action.
We started FEAR, which is Fentanyl Educational Awareness Resources. And so what we do is we just try to spread awareness everywhere we go, and I hope that we can reach somebody else so that they don't have to go through what we have gone through, because if we can save one life, then I feel like my son's death is not in vain.
Sheriff Hobart Lewis says overdose deaths in Greenville County have decreased by 20% compared to last year.
There is about a month of summer left, and cases of COVID-19 are on the move in South Carolina. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, they say cases are growing in 14 states. The agency measures these trends by looking at the level of viral activity in wastewater. Experts say that there's a spike each winter, but cases are on the rise this year, even before fall. A local doctor says back to school may be a factor in South Carolina.
Because we're in a southern state and we do return to school earlier than most, that increased social activity has happened here before it has in some of the other states.
And the CDC says the best way to prevent the spread is to wash your hands frequently and isolate if you feel sick. They also recommend you stay up to date on COVID vaccinations.
7 News is your local election headquarters. Tonight, the big night. All eyes will be on Vice President Kamala Harris as she takes the stage at the Democratic National Convention. Raquel Martin has the latest.
Vice President Harris will be the second woman and first woman of color to ever grace the top of a major party ticket here in the U.S. But her campaign says don't expect that to be the focal point of her speech tonight. We will hear her kind of talk about her middle-class roots and also lay out a vision for the future.
Let's all choose Kamala Harris!
After another night of enthusiastic, star-studded speeches and tender moments.
Gus and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you.
Tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris will deliver the most consequential speech of her political career, with the eyes of the nation watching.
I know who she is, I know what she's about, and I can't wait until America hears from her.
New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, who served in the Senate with Harris for 4 years, says he's confident Harris will meet the moment.
A joy is coming. That is what has me so excited.
The Harris campaign says the VP will talk about her upbringing as the daughter of 2 immigrants, her record as a prosecutor, and contrast her optimistic vision for the future against that of former President Donald Trump's. Also helping to ramp up the final day, 2 battleground state governors, Michigan's Gretchen Whitmer and North Carolina's Roy Cooper. Notably missing from this week's speaker lineup, a Palestinian American. The exclusion prompted a sit-in near the convention's entrance.
All we want to do is live.
The group of uncommitted voters are demanding a ceasefire in Gaza. The DNC has not shied away from including Republicans in this week's convention. Tonight, Illinois former Congressman Adam Kinzinger will join a list of high-profile conservatives hitting the stage. For now in Chicago, Raquel Martin, back to you.
South Carolina's delegation has some pretty sweet seats at the DNC since the National Party Chair, Jamie Harrison, is from here, and Congressman Jim Clyburn from the Low Country is one of the most influential Democrats in Congress. Now remember, when Lil Jon showed up for the Georgia roll call, that's right where South Carolina is seated. Enjoying these sweet seats is the party chair for Greenville County, Amanda McDougald-Scott, and she is pumped to hear Kamala Harris speak tonight.
I'm just really excited to see Kamala. Everything else, it just makes it even more exciting. Seeing people like Oprah, for example, last night come out, she doesn't usually get super politically involved. And so the fact that she came out and stepped up and put her name behind the Harris Walls ticket, that was super exciting and energizing all by itself.
Now, this is McDougald-Scott's first convention. Of course, we want to remind you, CBS is carrying live coverage of the Democratic National Convention, and that coverage tonight begins at 9 o'clock. You can watch it right here on Channel 7, and make sure you stick around for the 11 o'clock news right afterward.
Former President Trump is campaigning from the battleground state of Arizona, where he's touring the southern border. He is leaning into one of the issues central to his first presidential run in 2016 and his current one. The former president also met with families of victims allegedly killed by undocumented immigrants. Senator Vance campaigning in battleground Georgia today and echoing Trump's comments on border security.
With your vote, we will seal the border, stop the invasion, and launch the largest deportation effort in American history.
The reason why we have an open border is because Kamala Harris undid the policies of Donald J. Trump. We bring Donald J. Trump back, we bring those policies back, we will get border security, but you've got to have a president who wants to do this stuff.
The Trump campaign has blamed the Biden administration and Vice President Kamala Harris for record crossings. In recent months, the numbers have fallen, according to new data released by Customs and Border Protection. This follows President Biden enacting asylum restrictions in June. Tomorrow, Trump is scheduled to travel to Nevada and back to Arizona.
Ceasefire negotiations continue, but hope is dwindling. Plus, the message from the parents of one of those hostages from the DNC coming up.
All right, and we've got temperatures that are feeling nice across the Carolinas for now, but all that's going to change as we get into the weekend. We're talking about the summer heat coming back and the forecast coming up.